Welcome to Closets Las Vegas, the city's premier custom closet and storage company. We provide complete storage solutions for all price ranges and projects, backed by our 20 years of experience. Whether it's a closet, pantry, garage storage, floor coatings, entertainment center, laundry room, home office, custom bookcases, and window coverings, Closets Las Vegas will give you the look and feel you want in your home. Please contact me, Pat, for your free consultation, and don't forget to ask about 0% financing for 18 months. I look forward to working with you.
Hi Chakits, I have been following you and watching your YouTube channel for years.
I have decided to finally relocate to Las Vegas and want to start a new chapter in my life. I know you're the perfect realtor to help guide me to find my next dream home. I am looking for a modern kitchen, large backyard with a pool and a golf course community.
My name is Chakits Krulsawat with Simply Vegas, a licensed real estate agent out here in Las Vegas, Nevada. I help buyers like this all the time, so if you're looking for a licensed professional, give us a call at 702-319-1092 or visit lvhomeexperts.com. Buying a home starts here. Is your credit score holding you back from purchasing a home? GC Credit Coaches is a repair company that's made easy. Their goal is to challenge and remove all negative errors that hurt your credit score. On average, GC clients see about 10.2 negative items removed over 4 months. Start improving your credit score today with a simple 2-minute online enrollment for a free consultation and a complete credit audit. GC Credit Coaches offers competitive monthly pricing, no contracts, no hidden fees, and the service stops once you are satisfied. GC Credit Coaches removes inquiries, collections, charge-off bankruptcies, and repossessions. Don't forget to visit gccreditcoaches.com. Does your house look like and have you been considering remodeling your home for some time now? Well, if you love real estate like I do and appreciate the attention to detail in the craftsmanship required to build a remodel or a gorgeous home, then I got the perfect company for you. Guys, I highly recommend Design Zone Remodeling. They are a stellar company that will turn your outdated home into your own personal sanctuary. They specialize in bathroom remodels, kitchen remodels, and full house remodels. Design Zone Remodeling has a reputation for excellent workmanship, competitive fees, and being able to offer a wide range of services and deliver the outstanding results to their clients. I use Design Zone Remodeling on my personal properties. Give Design Zone Remodeling a call today at 725-223-0871 or visit their website at designzoneremodeling.com to request a free consultation today.
Attention contractors, remodelers, and homeowners. Is your renovation becoming a pain in the glass? Here at Glass Vegas, we take care of all of your glass needs, from a broken window to custom shower doors, mirrors, wine enclosures, storefronts, railings, and much more. We can even help you with new or replacement thermally broken windows. We're a full-service, woman-owned glass company that provides unparalleled workmanship, excellent communication, and great customer service. Glass Vegas, we do glass with class.
All right, what's up, everybody, and welcome back for another LV Home Experts podcast. This is where we talk about real estate and financing every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If this is your first time tuning in, my name is Chakits Krulsawat, a licensed real estate agent out here in Las Vegas, Nevada. So today we have a very special guest, Alex Vazquez with the Alex Vazquez team at EXP Realty. So, what's going on, my brother? How is everything going?
Good, man. Happy to be here. Good to see you and meet you in person. We've talked before, but thank you for having me, man.
You know what? This camera angle with this lighting, this looks good on you.
Thanks, man.
Can you pull that mic a little bit closer?
Absolutely.
I mean, don't swallow it, but I mean, put it close as you can. You might have to tighten that handle right there, kind of help you out with that. And you may have to speak a little bit louder for the audience. Corey says, what's up? What's up, everybody? So it looks like we are having a bunch of people tuning in. So I just want to say thank you for that, for the live show. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and hit us on the comments. So first thing I've noticed, damn, what kind of watch you got there? That's a nice watch.
Oh, thank you.
I'm a watch kind of guy.
A tag.
A tag?
Carrera.
That is a sick watch. Okay.
Thanks, bro.
So I want to, have my audience to get to know you a little bit better. We were talking earlier. You said that you've been doing real estate now for what, 6-7 years?
Just over 7 years, man.
7 years. Okay. So, you've been around the downtimes, right? You kind of know what's going on with the marketplace. And, York came in here and said, hey, you need to have a conversation about, something in Mexico you adopted or something. Kind of explain that.
It's an orphanage that we sponsored, my
Okay.
family and I. And
The whole orphanage.
yes, it's 35 little kids. So we're one of the major sponsors of that. So basically what we do is we take care of them, clothes, shoes, toys, Christmas gifts, in the summer, bringing them summer clothes, winter, of course, winter clothes,
Yeah.
toys, shoes, food, and anything else they need. During the pandemic, everything was shut down. So these kids were just in they call it a village, a small little area that they have, with 2 dorms and a chapel and common area. And they had 3 computers, man, two old computers and 1 semi-new computer during COVID. So we got them all tablets. We were able to do a nice little fundraiser, bring them all tablets, bring them all new computers. So it was nice to help them out during that time.
How'd you hear about this and how'd you get started?
Well, we were talking about it earlier. I mentioned Tom Ferry. He
Okay.
does so I'll tell you real quick the backstory on it. So 2017, I was newer in the business. I went to his Success Summit.
Yeah.
That was here at the MGM Grand. And at the very end, man, he just turned off the lights and he said, hey, can you imagine if you had 5,000-6,000 people in the room, dim the lights, talked about what you would do if you were highly successful, if you reached your goals, or if you won the lottery, right? Either or. So as a why, like what would you do? What would be the reason for you to try to achieve success? So how would you give back to the world? And I thought about it. That hit me because I hadn't really thought about it at all before that. I'm very close with my mom. I'm a self-proclaimed mama's boy, so I talked to her multiple times a day. I left that before I even jumped in my car. I was already on the phone with my mom. Like, hey, what do you think we should do? If we need to give back, we need to have a purpose. We need to have a why. So if I do reach my goals, I was less than a year into the business.
Mm-hmm.
But I said, if I do hit X amount of houses, I want to give back, and I want to give back in a big way. So we thought about it. We went back and forth, different charities, different types of organizations to help out. And ultimately, man, I just thought about the kids, right? I'm a former speed skater. I was on the world team for several years. So I remember that the excitement of coaching kids. There was a downtime where I had surgeries and I couldn't do any kind of sports for 6 months. So I was in charge of teaching kids how to skate, how to turn them into champions or whatever, how to race. So I just thought of the gleam in their eyes, man, when you can change the world a little bit, right? And I still keep in touch with some of them, and still the gleam in their eyes is still there. So I said, if we can help change these kids' lives, and it's worth it. And
So how did you get in touch with this orphan? Like, did you just look through a phone book and said, this is the one? Like, how did that happen?
So my mother, great question. So my mother went and started searching for orphanages, and this is down in near my hometown of Guadalajara in Mexico.
Okay.
And she saw some state-sponsored ones, some private ones that were small, some were in the city, some were out. So came across this one through our church, and this one basically it's half an hour, 45 minutes outside of our city. It's in a smaller town, and they church related. So the church helps out a little bit. They provided the land, they provided the buildings, and then there's 3 nuns that take care of 35 children, man. As impressive as that sounds.
Wow, that's crazy. And how are you able to fund all this? I mean, that seems like a lot of money.
Well, I do have people that have helped me out on it.
Okay.
And at my previous brokerage, they were also willing to help. And then I put some stuff on social media, and then you had people, agents, and some past clients that were wanting to help, that were wanting to see the breakdown. So very easy. My mom is a CPA, man, by trade. She's now retired, but she put spreadsheets together and said, hey, this is how many kids, this is how much it would cost roughly to clothe them, to feed them, to buy toys per age category. So she had it all broken down. And then we do the estimates. It's crazy to try to send something from here, it'll get stuck in customs. It'll never make it.
Yeah.
So everything is just all the money gets sent to Mexico, converted to pesos. She goes out, does all the shopping, Walmart, Costco, you name it.
So are you raising enough funds per kid per year? Is that how it is, or?
Yes, it's either if we have the funds that we can raise, great. If not, then it's just on me.
Okay, wow, that's
and
crazy.
our team, because we have it's Alex Vazquez, but the team, we have a total of 6-7 people on board, and it's all of us in on it, man. So
Okay, so you are the team leader, and
Yes.
we have I forget your operations manager, right?
Evan is our operations manager.
Okay.
We have several. We have a transaction full-time coordinator, and then we have 4 agents on the team.
Okay, and you mentioned something about you used to be a professional skater,
Speed skater.
speed skater, like on ice,
That's what everybody thinks. This one was on inline, but it's the
like
same,
rollerblades.
exactly the same, man. One of my best friends, he switched from inline to ice and won the Olympics. So it's the same
Oh,
technique,
really?
the same
How'd you even get
muscles.
into something like that?
Crystal Palace, man, here in Las Vegas.
Oh, really?
Yeah, back in the day, bro. Like 1996.
Okay, so are you a native or?
Born in Guadalajara in Mexico.
Okay.
Brought here when I was 7 years old. When the Mirage was opened back in '89, my father was hired. He worked there.
Okay.
When first Grand Resort on the Strip, and that's what brought us to Vegas, man. Been here ever since.
Okay, so you've seen this city grow.
There was only 500,000 people when I got here, man. So it's been crazy.
Okay, so I'm sure a lot of people want to know from your perspective what's going on in the housing market right now.
What's going on overall is low inventory. We fortunately, I'm sure you're seeing this too. We fortunately have still a steady influx of California buyers.
Yeah.
So our city is definitely benefiting from that. But it's people having a hard time parting with their 3 or 4% interest rates, as low as 2.5. So low inventory. Unless you have a life-changing experience, divorce, death, they say also diapers, and et cetera, then there's real no need for you to move, because it's parting with that and getting comfortable with digesting those larger interest rates, which I think, I'm sure you're seeing the same. People are starting to now be able to digest those interest rates and are feeling more comfortable getting back into the market.
So are you saying that there's starting to be more buyers now?
I'm starting to see a little more buyers, a little more comfort. It's not the sticker shock factor of the interest rates. And I think overall people still see the benefit in real estate. The Federal Reserve from San Francisco mentioned that it was the best investment in modern history is real estate. So I think people, by educating them, by doing what you're doing, by talking about interest rates, what's going on in the market, people get more comfortable, and always bet on Las Vegas, man. That's what I tell my clients. Always bet on Vegas.
So why do you say that?
Because a house always wins. Vegas will always win. Vegas will continue to win. We have so much money coming in. Chakits, there's Formula One, Super Bowl, Madison Square Garden Sphere. I'm a part of I'm wear the pin proudly. I'm a part of the Latin Chamber of Commerce.
Okay.
And my mentor, Peter Guzman, the president there, very involved with what's going on in the city, businesses. We're involved in helping businesses transition to Las Vegas, and we're proud of our city, man. So it's the constant growth, the fact that we're the number 2 largest growing city in the country. That, of course, makes us feel good. The amount of money, man. I did the only video that I've done that has gone viral. Was talking about the $22 billion worth of infrastructure in Las Vegas, and how these huge corporations are putting their money where their mouth is and coming here.
It's just kind of fascinating to me that just on gambling alone, the revenue is over $42 billion, which is kind of crazy to me, just on gambling revenue. But we know that the city's growing like crazy, right?
Right.
But the question is, for how long, and when do we meet that top off where, we're to the top already?
Well, from one of the analysts and researchers that has come into the chamber, we believe that there's about 15 years of growth in Las Vegas, 15 years of building, of land, right?
Yeah.
To develop, et cetera, before we start heading out to Pahrump, man. But what we mean by that is 15 years of construction, developments, anything from continuous resorts, of course, a lot of residential housing, and some commercial. So 15 years worth of land, and I think it's doable, right?
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but do you think the market could actually drop?
I don't see it. There's just too many people coming in,
Okay.
too much equity in houses, right? The average homeowner has $300,000 equity in their house. even if you drop, say 10%, $30,000, $40,000, there's no reason to walk away from your house. So I don't see anything, no reason.
I would have to agree with that part. But however, inflation is running rapid, right? As we have high inflation, we have to increase interest rates. I mean, right now, I see people locking at like 7.5, almost close to 8%. I mean, how high is it going to go, right? And the higher you go, people may not even buy homes. I mean, are you worried about that?
No, from what I've heard is there's going to be one more rate hike this year. And then by next year, economists are expecting it to cool down sometime before the summer. So if interest rates do follow the inflation, right? I don't know if you've seen those charts, Chakits, but the interest rates tends to follow inflation. So as inflation starts to cool down, interest rates are going to come back down. And a lot of people, particularly the savvy buyers, and especially the California buyers that our team is working with, they're saying, great, I'll pay now to find the property that I want, and then I'll just refinance when the time comes.
But what happens if you can't refinance because the market doesn't go up, but interest rates go down, but you don't have that fluctuation as a buyer?
So if the interest rates goes down?
Yeah, let's say interest rates go down, which means, you may have a fluctuated buyers coming out, but by then home pricing has gone up, right? But we don't know if it's going to go up. If it goes down, you won't be able to refinance, right? So my question to you is that if I locked in at an interest rate right now at 8%, we don't know which direction this is going. And a lot of agents will say this, oh, you can always refinance. But you don't know if interest rates will go down, right? The only way for the market to go up dramatically would have to be interest rates would have to go down. And at that point, investors would come into the marketplace. But the problem is that investors only buy investment properties, right, based upon cash flow.
Right.
My point is this. Right now on the rental sector, right, things are not really moving as far as the rents, right? Everybody's shopping around, they're competing. I feel like the rents are starting to really slow down because I got a couple of rental properties and the shit ain't moving. We got to reduce the price because everybody's competing. So I'm just afraid that, we tell all our buyers like, hey, you can always refinance. But what happens if interest rates never go down, or if it does go down, it doesn't go down dramatically enough to force the buyers to come back out into the marketplace to saturate the market, to force the price to go up so that way you can actually refinance, because you can't refinance if there's no equity in the home.
Right.
So my question to you is that could that actually happen?
I don't see it. I mean, I honestly, I mean, not to disagree or whatever. But
No, I want you to disagree because here's the thing. At the end of the day, this show is really, right, to have the audience look at both sides.
Yeah.
Of the thing. I don't want my audience to say, whatever these guys say, we're going to go with, because we don't know. Because I have clients ask me all the time, hey, what do you think is going to happen to the market? I mean, I don't know. I can just tell you like what's going on right now.
Right.
And that's it, because I have the data to prove it.
Right.
I just can't predict the future. That's my point. But I want my buyers to be educated, but also think about it on both sides, because when somebody asks you, is it a good time to buy? What is your reaction as an agent? Oh yeah, it is a good time to buy.
Yeah,
right.
That's what we're told.
But the problem is that, why do we say that as an agent? Well, the reason why is because we are a base commission, right? That's how we make a living. So we are always going to say, yes, it's a good time to buy. But that's where I really want to educate the public. It's only a good time to buy if it makes sense for you as a client.
Exactly. And one thing that I'll add to that, Chakits, that I think is very important to note is I learned this from my buddy. Then I went back and reviewed all of the sales since I started in the business. Not one person, not one buyer has ever told me, you know what, that was a bad decision. Never. Right. And yes, it's only been 7.5 years, but still, there's never been a situation where they regretted their purchase. And again, going back to that article from San Francisco Federal Reserve is saying, yeah, it's the best investment in modern history. It has outperformed any other investments. And in our case, Las Vegas is a little different, where we're going to continuously see the influx of people to our city, not just because Las Vegas is great, but the Californian exodus. We just working with clients that were in town since Sunday up until yesterday, and they said every time, and she's been a real estate agent for 45 years, recently retired. She said, but the worse the economy gets, or if we get into a recession, guess what? Then people in crunch in California are going to sell, leave there, and come to a more affordable city called Las Vegas, right? Because that's where that's the source of most of our buyers. So that makes me feel at ease and being able to tell people, hey, the inventory is not there, right? Lack of inventory is going to keep prices high. And then interest rates, you're absolutely right. We can't predict those, but if we follow the trends and we talk and we listen to these economists, and in this case, it's Keeping Current Matters, just a company that I like to follow every day, and just seeing their graphs and their trends and seeing exactly how they're sourcing their information, how they're presenting the information, makes me feel good overall.
I just don't understand how the feds can just keep printing more and more money, and what happens is we're losing and defacing the dollar value, and that's the reason why we have this hyperinflation. Right.
Yes.
And that's what I'm worried about, because this thing could run rapid, and if it does, it could be like Venezuela, right? Within 1 year, right, they lost its value like over 500%, and the wealth gap just separates. And when something like that does happen, and you have a property that you need to sell, and you're competing against other people, right? Because real estate for me, it's more psychological, and what I mean by that is, the market is only good when people feels it's good, right?
Good about it, right?
Yes. If they feel bad about it and they're like, hey, I'm not going to buy because I'm afraid, then you have a bunch of people don't want to buy because they're afraid. Then that's how the market tanks. And for me, like I said, it's all psychological. But again, who am I? I'm just some real estate agent trying to sell you a home. Right?
We're educated, man. We actually take this business seriously. And like we said earlier, we treat it like a business, right? And something we tell our clients is this decision will not change your life, but it will change your life. So whatever decision you decide to make, but we're just here to provide the data, tell you about the local Las Vegas highlights, and then trust you to make your decision.
It's very hard to kind of predict what's going on. I mean, it's such a very unique market, right? You have such a low inventory, and then about 65% of the country pretty much owns their home free and clear, right? The rest of them, right, they bought at a good time with a low interest rate. Inflation went high so fast that your home pricing went up so high. They're sitting on an equity position. They're not going to sell their home because there's nowhere to go, right? I'm in the same boat. I have like 3.2, I think it's like 3.25%. How do I leave a $930 mortgage payment? I can't. Because it wouldn't make any sense.
Doesn't exist.
Exactly. So now it's almost like a gridlock, right? Because then now you have buyers that want to buy, but the interest rate is so high, they can't really buy, but they're kind of looking around. You have a few that are kind of like trickling in, and it's just kind of like, it's almost like buyers and sellers are kind of like pulling back and forth. And it's just like, I don't know which direction that this pendulum is going to stop at, right? And it's almost kind of scary, but again, sometimes you do got to take some chances in life. And the way that I propose sometimes to my clients, if they're like, hey, should I do it? Well, if you bought a home for $500,000 and you did 3%, that's 15 grand. It's a lot easier to walk away from 15 grand if the market tanks. Right? Think about it. Like, if shit hit the fan and you're just like, dude, I'm done, I can't make the payment. Dude, you're only into it for 15 grand. Yeah. Now, if you put down 50% and it's $250,000, that's a little bit harder to walk away from.
And more skin in the game.
Exactly. So it's always like that mindset, and it's also like case-by-case basis, right? Now, I know home pricing has gone up, and I've been telling all my clients this. I mean, at our lowest point, right, we dropped down from 480 down to 420. Now we're sitting here today at $447, right, $1,000. Average days on the market right now is like 14 days. And I have some clients that are like, dude, there's more properties that are coming up on the market, and there are some price reductions happening. But I also want to explain to the audience, around this time of year, right, things start to slow down. Would you agree on that?
I do. That I do. You do have a slight slowdown towards the end of the year. But then again, the agents that are out there doing a service of educating their clients, they're still generating the sales, right? So you're getting a larger portion, because the traditional agent's going to slow down. Right? Starting about now through January.
And I always tell the buyers this, like, if you're going to buy, right, especially like a new home, right now is the best time to buy, right? If you look throughout the whole year, right, it's always on the fourth quarter. because a lot of builders are trying to get, their stuff off their books. And this is where you can actually get a real good deal, but you got to close by the end of the year. So it's a case-by-case basis, right? Now, from the selling point on a resale, okay, are things moving with your sellers? And are you like aggressively pricing these things correctly, or you're kind of going a little bit higher on the sell side?
Always pushing to price it correctly. Where the market is right now, how we try to do it like how an appraiser would, right? You share the information. Hey, this is currently where we're at. This is the activity. This is what's been going on. If a seller is adamant about going a little bit higher, because a lot of those price reductions, I'm sure you're seeing the same thing, are because these people are aspirational pricing, right? The sellers have heard about it. So then, of course, then you're backtracking in the future. So what we do is if they want to go a little bit higher than our suggested price, we'll go up to a cap to a certain amount that we agree on. And then within a couple weeks, if there's no activity, depending on the traffic, depending on offers, whatever the situation is, then we write it into the contract that we can address the price in 2 weeks.
Now, could that hurt the seller by listing it that way, by going higher than doing a price reduction?
It could, because the people will watch days on market. That's why we make sure that it's no more than 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Now it's public, right? Even on Zillow. Now you don't have to go through an agent to see how many days on market. And as a savvy buyer, even most buyers, they see, this property's been on the market sitting a little bit longer. Let me drop the price after they saw the price reduction. So then you're trying to go back and forth. In this case, I've only had one seller recently do that. All of our other listings are priced right. We get offers on them. We try to negotiate them. So overall, we are keeping pretty steady on that point.
Now, with the average household income being about like $80,000 here in Las Vegas now, I've noticed the sweet spot is about like 550 and below. There are a lot of properties that, at 550,000 and below. And one thing I've noticed is that what you can get for 550 is actually pretty damn good.
That's nice.
Yeah, I mean, you can actually get a home that's like 3-4 bedrooms, around 2,500 square feet, right, depending on the location, and also with the pool. Like I was just out yesterday filming for a client that's out of state. And it was like a 4-bedroom in a den, I think it was, and it had a nice backyard, covered patio, pool, barbecue grill. I mean, it had it all for $550,000. I couldn't believe it.
What side of town?
Out in the Northwest.
Okay.
So I couldn't believe what you can get now for your money. And one thing that I've noticed personally is that, at that price point, buyers are not just hyper focused on one location anymore. It's weird. Now it's like, hey, if I'm at 550. I want to see what my money can buy, because I feel like the city's grown so much. No matter where you live, everything's conveniently located now, right? So that's one thing that they look at. It's like, hey, if I buy here, this is what I pay for price per square foot. But if I go here, I can get more home, or more of a newer home. And what happens is, this is probably an advice for, sellers. If you're in a certain price point, don't only focus on, who you're competing against with around that neighborhood. You may want to go a little bit further, a couple zip codes out, right?
Yes.
And I think that's important. I think sellers need to know that, because, just the other day, I had a client that contacted me from, social media, and she was like, hey, can you list my home? And I said, okay, I'll set up the appointment. So we set it up for Sunday, but, I ran the numbers and I called her up and I said, hey, look, I'm not your agent. I can't sell it for what you want. It's way too high. And I told her, like, hey, you're overpricing this about like 25%. Like, if you want me to help you, this is where we need to be. And she was like, nah, I'm good. I'm going to go somewhere else. Hey, have a great day. I mean, it is what it is.
They do a favor.
Yes, because it does take a lot of time and effort to actually really market a property. A lot of times, sellers think we just throw this thing on the multiple listing service, but there's a lot more to it than that. I mean, we have costs and overheads that people don't think about. When you run a full team, there's staff. You got to pay people, you know what I mean?
Correct.
So we don't just take on any listing. And I think this is important for especially all the sellers, and especially coming, during the winter months, because we're going to have, what is that, Halloween? We're going to have Thanksgiving, right? And this is where a lot of people go kind of dormant, right? Then we have Christmas, then we have New Year's. This is like the worst time, right, for a seller, okay? Best time for a buyer. Would you agree?
Yes, and the buyers that are out looking during those periods are motivated buyers.
Yeah.
They're not playing games. They're coming out to place offers.
And you're going to have more to shop. Now, I do have some clients, they're like, yo, I want a discount. Okay, what is the discount? Have you countered this with your buyers? Like, hey man, I heard the market is crashing and I want like, $15,000, $20,000, $30,000 price reduction. Have you heard anything like that from your buyers?
No, not the
No?
ones that we're working with now, because we try to make it in our buyer presentation, make sure that we educate them where the market is, what we're seeing, inventory. We talk about areas. So we haven't seen anybody.
Okay. So, and the reason why I bring this up is because when I talk to clients, when I first make that initial conversation or the conference call that we have, they always listen to like the media.
Yeah.
Market is going to crash. It's going to crash. It's dumping. But it's like, I got to explain again and again. It's like a broken record. Then what I have to do is pull up the data, send it on over to them. Like, no, that's not what's going on here. Especially the lower that you go on the price point, the harder it becomes, right? Especially if it's the location, the move-in ready properties. It's crazy.
It's harder and harder.
Now, are you able to get closing costs for your buyers on a resale in today's market?
In resale, we have been, yes. Our team, we've negotiated some all the way up to $10,000. And another initiative is we tell them that we'll prepare the seller and tell them, hey, instead of dropping the price, would you be okay if we offer the buyer some closing costs to buy down the interest rate? And then we say, oh, what's that? And we tell them, say, hey, because it's not going to affect them on their price if you drop 10,000.
Yeah.
But if you do give them 10,000, 5 or 10,000 towards buying down their interest rate, that will really impact their purchase power. Odds are your sale will go through. So that's what we've had success with in this market, is just instead of dropping the price, let's just pay down the buyer's interest rate and allow the house to be more affordable to them, right? Because on $500,000 house, what $447 is our average price. Say it's $500,000, then that's $5,000 a year they'll save over $400 a month payment. So once they see that, it's like, oh, okay. And then for the buyer, it's not going to make a difference if they're financing another $10,000. It's what, $60, $70 a month difference.
And is there any other concessions that you're asking for?
No, just we're focusing on that. I'm just keeping it clean.
So that's part of your strategy?
Yeah.
Okay. And what about like title companies and stuff like that? Are you using your own title company, or are you just going with the title company that the listing agent wants?
If it depends on how desirable the property is. If they have other offers, there's other interested buyers, or if they know this listing agent knows that it's a hot property, then we'll play ball and use theirs. Otherwise, we'll work with our.
So what's the benefit of using their title company or using your own title company for a buyer?
For a buyer's not really any difference. A lot of them are going to be the same. I guess the only advantages, and you might feel the same way, is if we work with our title company where we give them more business or we're more used to them, odds are if something happens and we can jump in and pick up the phone and speak with them directly. Hey, can you take care of this right now, right? As opposed to somebody you don't know, you don't have any rapport with, and you have really no say in that.
I think that's great information for the buyers out there. If you can use your own title company with your agent, right, gives you more leverage. And this is how it gives you leverage, guys. So you have more control of the deal. You always want to have control of the deal, right? Because if you control the deal, you always win, right? Now, I understand that sometimes you can come across a situation where you get two agents, right? Feathers are all fluffed. You know what I'm talking about? Right? Like who's a better agent? You know, you get that type A personality.
It's that arm flex, bro.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, do you give into that, or you're kind of stern on that?
Unless it's something very important, man, then I'll play ball. I mean, we're here to make a deal happen, not break a deal. And the only other time where we do have to stick to our guns is if it's like a portfolio, right? Or in our case, we do a lot of probates or divorces, right? So the title company already has everything. Maybe it fell out of escrow. We had that one recently where the buyer couldn't perform, so we go back on the market. But the death certificate, all of the information was already provided to the title company. The buy, everything was already prepared. So I just talked to the agent, said, hey, man, let's just use this company and get it closed, right? They already have all the information. No sense in going back to
I do want to read some of those comments. JK says, I'm ready to buy if a recession doesn't happen or does happen. Now, there's another one here. I guess this guy's name is 10 Bear Reef Tank. I mean, have you guys seen the stock market? It has been worst month of the year. We are heading into a bigger recession. What do you say about that? How does the stock market affect the housing market? Does it?
It can, but again, my real estate coach always says it. A lot of people will pull out money from stock market because that's very volatile, and they will put it into real estate, the safest investment on the planet, they say. So that's the only reason really to get nervous about it. But I haven't noticed any big changes. Have you?
You know what? The problem is it goes up and down, right? It's all psychological, right? That's why I don't even play the stock market.
I don't either.
I just play the real estate game. I've been doing this for like 13 years. I buy, sell, stack, and reposition. Because that's all I know. I play what I'm good at. And that's what I do, right?
What we know.
Exactly. But one thing about Las Vegas, because I've been looking at every different city right now, because I'm actually looking to buy an apartment complex. And matter of fact, I'm actually very excited. So I just want to just plug this in real quick. I would not be in the position where I'm at today if it wasn't for you guys out there that have subscribed to this channel, okay? It literally took me about 5 years to get to where I'm at now. But next week, is it next week or the following week? Maybe the following week. No, next week. I'm heading out to Wichita, Kansas. Then we're going to Oklahoma, looking at a 48-unit apartment complex. So I'm pretty excited about that because we're talking about passive income over $20,000. That's right, $20,000. But the reason why I'm saying this is because I want you guys to realize that I would not be in the position where I'm at today if it wasn't because of you guys, honestly. And you guys need to subscribe to the channel. But anyway, I just had to talk about me a little bit.
Congratulations, by the way, man.
Dude, you know what? It's been a long-going process for me, and I'm very excited about it. But my point here is that I've looked at every single city, right? Where are the best cities to invest? But I've noticed like the population growth is not as big as Las Vegas because I'm running the numbers here.
Yeah.
Okay. As far as every metropolitan area, what has to offer, Vegas really has everything. And I feel like Vegas will be a good investment for a long-term buy and hold. Short-term, it is not good. Okay. And the stuff that if I bought here in Vegas would be unicorn properties. What are unicorn properties? Something that you have the Las Vegas Strip, unobstructed view, okay, modern type of home. So these are kind of like the unicorn properties, right?
Or
the
redevelopment options.
Or exactly. Yeah. Or RV parking, right, with a garage, with a lot of land. Because, like you said, we've got about 15 more years. After that, then what happens? You can still buy here, but the pricing is going to shoot up like California.
We won't have land.
And exactly. Then we're going to have to go out to Pahrump, which is I'm not driving an hour and 30 minutes to go show you guys some property. That's a no-no, okay? All right, so what else we got here? It says, what's up, Chakits, man? You the man. Great job. Hey, I appreciate you. Todd from Delmar at Pulte. What's going on, Todd? I do appreciate you. Congratulations. Thank you very much. Look at this, all this love and support. What are interest rates right now with the feds? What did they raise it up to? I haven't checked. I know October, they have another meeting. Where are we at right now?
The last I heard was 7.75. Chakits, what are you looking at?
That I don't know.
Haven't checked.
You know what? But after about a month, I just stopped checking. I was like literally on this like every single day. Do you know what inflation rate is? I know inflation dropped. I know their target rate was at 2%, but the last time I looked, it was like at 4 something. But I think that dropped even lower. So looks like inflation is going away. But here's the thing. I got to disagree with that. Here's why. Everything's still freaking expensive.
Man.
So I don't know what's going on. All I know is we're having buyers. We're still closing deals. I'm taking out buyers. People are still buying home, right? Like I literally just had a gentleman from California. Give a quick shout out to Dave because we're going on a contract today. He's a lineman, right? And Nevada Power needs him. And he's like, dude, I'm dropping my pay. However, he's saving like 13% just by moving out here. State income tax. You got to pay, right? Yeah. So he's saving all that money. It just makes sense. So he's literally buying a home, move-in ready with $30,000 incentives. Actually, I'm sorry, $20,000 incentives towards like buy down, whatever he wants to do. and he's getting a great deal. But that makes sense for him. It doesn't make sense for everybody. Now, let's talk about investment properties. Is it a good time to buy a cash flow investment properties? Are you seeing great deals out here?
Few and far between, mostly on multi-units.
Yeah.
That's the way to go. Not single family as much.
Okay. Now, with the multifamily, what kind of returns can you actually get?
With
like cash on cash returns.
Like cash on cash, like how much money are coming in?
Yeah.
So, for example, I'll give you a perfect example. We have a client, we closed on an 11-plex, small little apartment complex in downtown Henderson. That came in 1.5. We closed that, and they put down. This is California buyers. So they sold the property, did 1031 exchange, put 50% down. Now they're making 10,000. The mortgage is 6,000. They're making 10,000, just over 10,000, so 4,000, which is
that's great.
pretty good. Yeah.
No, that's actually really good.
Yeah. And then get this, man. This is the most important part.
Yeah.
Because this is part of their retirement project. So they have a little. It's 11 units. You're gonna tear all that down, man. Redevelopment. We just mentioned it, and then you can build up to 40 units, and the city has approved it. So you can do mixed use where you have commercial in the bottom, first floor, and then you have your residential units up. So can you imagine, man? I mean, when the rents will be, say, in 10 years here in Las Vegas.
Dude, that's crazy.
When it's all done, you have 40 units residential, and on top of the commercial income that you can do, I mean, that's just...
So what do you say with all the investors out there, like, I'm not going to buy now, I'm just going to wait?
To the investors just on the sidelines?
Yeah.
Yeah, and ask them waiting for what? What's your situation, right? Are you waiting for markets crash, or because you think it's going to crash? What are you waiting for? If the answer is you have the money, right? It's if it's sitting in the bank, then you said it earlier. With inflation, the dollar's depreciating. So what do you need to put it in? An asset.
That's another freaking problem, dude. And that's why I started looking like outside of Nevada, is because I'm literally losing $180,000 a year towards inflation. Dude, that's like almost a house every single year by my money just sitting in the bank, dude. It's going nowhere. It's just rotting away.
Yes.
And like I'm like quick to spend the money, and that's where a lot of people lie right now, especially in California. They're like, yo, I got to get the hell out of here. I'm done paying the taxes. Like, I got to reposition, right? We're close to California. If I want to go back, I can drive back at any time. All right.
Agreed.
Now, I noticed there's more people from California that is transitioning here versus like the East Coast.
Absolutely.
I noticed a lot of people from the East Coast, they're moving, like down like Florida and all that, down to the Keys area, more weather, the climate, right? More warmer. However, I don't know why you want to move there. There's tons of mosquitoes and bugs, right?
Humidity, bro.
Yeah, forget the humidity. Now, what is it that you actually specialize in? Do you mostly focus on buyers or sellers, or?
We're a little bit on the buyer heavy side. We are a little bit more buyer heavy. Personally, I do most of my business is listings. And then our team as a whole, we do more on the buyer side. We do a lot of single family residential. I particularly do the multi units, 4-plexes all the way to the 11-plex that I just mentioned to you. I just I got into it a couple years ago, and I love it, man. I've done plenty of 4-plexes all over town, and that's part of my jam. Land, also for development. We opened up a company that specializes in development, buying the land, designing your custom home, or a 4-plex, 8-plex, whatever you want to do. We have everything from 3 custom homes going on, all the way to 4-plexes and a 10-plex, man, brand new construction. So that I really enjoy.
Wow, where's that 10-plex at?
10-plex is on Bonanza near downtown.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's on a slope on Bonanza near 13th. Street, and it's on a hill, and the architect that we work with was able to, of course, call the city, get all the permits, see what they can do, and with the density that in the area, we were allowed to build 10 units on there.
So how does this work? So when somebody comes to you and says, "Hey, man, I want to buy some land and I want to build something," how does that work as far as the buyer's perspective, like to be protected? Because the last thing I want to do is buy a piece of dirt and come to find out I can't build a 10-unit building. Like, how does that work?
Oh, it's part of your due diligence period. Where I do is I just go in, bring in the architect and the developer together, talk about the project, what they're looking at, make sure we set the expectations with the buyer, because it's going to be about a two-year wait at least, and then calling the city, going to City Hall, finding out what they can do, what other businesses are coming around, and what the city's willing to do. So,
Wow, that seems like too much work for a commission. And you ain't gonna get paid that much. So are you charging like a consultation fee, or how does that work?
no, we're not. We're helping the buyer with the land, and
'Cause
then
I
we're
mean-
overseeing the project.
Because I mean, honestly, like how much is the land? Like half an acre, probably like 200,000-300,000.
Depends on the area. The last one we sold in Lone Mountain, half an acre, was 500,000.
Okay.
Some decent lots in Henderson as well. Of course, not the master plans, not the big master plans. And then you can find land as cheap as 90,000, man, 100,000.
Okay, so let's say you buy a home for a piece of dirt for 500,000. Okay, and you're making 15 grand. But then at this point, you're trying to facilitate this whole transaction. Are you literally walking the client through as far as like the architectural, the builder, contractor to come in to build it, and are you overseeing this whole project for the client?
The company I'm involved is, yeah.
Okay, so the company you're involved with, they'll go ahead and do that. Okay. And are you coming back into the back end after the units are stabilized for 2 years, and are you putting that back in the market? Is that the exit strategy for your investors?
It's if they're going to rent it out, if it's the 10plex, of course, is an investment property. So yeah, then we come back and our property management company handles that. Or if it's going to be their main house, then it's a primary. Or we also have guys that are building single family residences to sell at the end. So we come back in then.
The other thing is you mentioned that you're building a 10 unit over there in Bonanza. I know that the city has like abatements and stuff like that, and all kind of like programs. Are you guys getting any incentives for the investors?
No, they're not. They're not.
Oh, that's strange. I thought the city could give you some sort of tax credit or something like that because you're housing people and you're building houses, right?
No, they're allowing to do more high density and then playing ball with the parking, which was a big issue, right? Because before you had to have 2 units per property. And now they're not. You can either go underground. They're doing away with it. In Henderson, they did away with it, man. That's how you can put the 40 units on there. Yeah. So that's where the city's coming in and helping out, because otherwise that project, that could make or break. The parking alone can make or break the deal.
Okay. Now, what does it cost to build something like that, price per square foot?
Right now, you're looking at $250, man. It's gone up more than double in
actually,
the last couple of years.
You know what? That's not that bad because I can actually build a custom home. Matter of fact, never mind. I'm not gonna tell you how much I could build a custom home for. We're thinking about doing a project.
We'll talk about it, bro. We'll talk about it after the podcast. We'll talk some business.
But that's pretty good, man. $250 a square foot to build with the land. Obviously, if you're gonna do something like this, it wouldn't pencil out if you're only doing like 5 units. I mean, you're gonna have to run the numbers. You're gonna have to look at the comps. Because at the end of the day, you want to have that exit strategy. You want to force the appreciation as high as you can through rents. Also, when you bring in the architect company and all that, the contractors, doing the renderings for the client, is there a charge to the client?
Yes, for the architectural fees, for the engineering fees, yes.
Okay, so how much does all that cost?
It depends on the project, man, but I've seen it go anywhere from 20, 30,000 all the way up to 100,000 for a major project.
Shit. So basically, if this is something that you want to get into, you find a piece of dirt, you're doing like a 15-day, contingency. You're spending like $20,000, $30,000 just to get this information to see if it even works.
Oh no, this is after you close escrow.
Okay.
After the land is the buyer, after he or she owns it, then they talk about exactly what the fees will be, but by then, they already have a good idea based on their due diligence, talking about the city, what you can do, talking with the architect, having an idea, a rough estimate on what these charges will be, because they can tell you exactly what the ballpark number for all the pro forma, basically. They'll show you what the engineering, what the architectural fees is, all the way down to when you get the keys.
So it sounds like your company will walk them through the process before they buy the land to ensure that, yes, we can do something like this. However, this is an estimated price per square foot, and also you will go down to the county, make sure the permits are pulled, and it's with the correct density for that piece of dirt, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now, how long are some of these permits, how long are they good for? And how long does some of these permits take? Because I know sometimes the city could be backed up, and if you're trying to pull permits for something like this, it could take you a while to get approval.
We just had approval on one last week on Friday. It took a year, man.
Oh, fuck
So the
that.
fastest we've done it is just under 6 months, about 5.5 months. And this one took a year to get all the permits, but they can break ground as soon as they want now.
Oh, wow.
So that's why it's that 2-year period, right? Because it's up to a year to have everything ready to go, and then a year to build, up to a year to build.
Now, clients that you're working with on the construction side, are they paying cash as well, or are they doing commercial financing on these deals?
On these, everybody that we've worked with is paying cash for the land, and then you're getting a construction loan.
Okay. Kind of explain how a construction loan works if somebody wants to get started with something like this.
Well, of course, first step is going to the bank, talking to the head banker, the several banks that do that around town. Then after that, they're talking about interest rates, how it can fluctuate, the cash draws, right? How much money is going to come in to pay the architect to get going on some of these fees, development fees. And then at the end of the project, that's when the clock starts ticking, and that's when you start paying.
Okay.
The client starts paying the interest.
So correct me if I'm wrong. So basically, you're paying for the piece of dirt cash. Then after that, you get a loan for a commercial loan through the bank. It could be
Construction.
Construction loan. I'm sorry. It could be 1 or 2 years. You get a certain interest rate. Then you're paying into it every single month because there's a payment. And what they do is they do draws.
Yes.
So when they lay down the foundation, there's a draw that goes for the foundation. Somebody comes out and inspects it. Now we're gonna frame it. Okay. Now what happens is you're constantly putting money into the kitty, to the escrow.
Yes.
Now the frame cost is this much. Everything is all broken down with the contractors, right? This is how the bank is secure. Now what happens is they take some money out of that to do the framing. So it's kind of like a step by step until it's complete.
Yeah.
Then once it's complete, then at that point you may have to stabilize this and go get traditional financing,
Correct.
right? A regular commercial loan.
Transition the loan.
Then you transition out. It could be anywhere from 5-year loan, a 7, 10, 15, whatever it is, because commercial loans are all completely different. And that's pretty much it, right?
Right.
Wow, that's pretty fascinating. However, that sounds a little bit overwhelming, but typically that's how custom homes are built too as well.
Correct. Absolutely correct. So you just have to set the expectations with the client. We meet with them in person. We walk them through, typically, depending on how many questions they have, but it will be an hour, 2 hours, just for them to have a general concept of it, and then introduce them to the bankers, the banks that do the construction loans, and then just allow them to go and discuss their finances. And if it makes sense, then yes.
Now, do you have banks that you can refer to your clients?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
We talk to 3 different banks that we've done business with, that our clients have worked with, and one in particular that we work a lot with, because their customer service is outstanding. That's what it's all about, man.
Yeah.
If the person's willing to pick up the phone, this banker in particular, she picks up the phone. She will speak with the clients direct, give them the breakdown, give them a pro forma, and estimate on the lower end and estimate on the higher end. We had one that is put on pause because when this gentleman was quoted the construction cost, it was about $150 a foot, man. And now it's $250, so it's tough to swallow.
Shit. That's a pretty big swing, bro.
And
I'd be
inflation,
pissed.
Inflation, bro. And then you got
let's not blame inflation.
Well, you got the lumber,
no. You gotta say it's COVID, bro. It's COVID.
There's COVID. These COVID dollars.
Everybody. So it seems like you're pretty well diverse, and you pretty much do everything in real estate. Then basically,
that's the plan, man. That was the plan for our team to be full service, to be able to offer anything and everything that a client wants that pertains to real estate.
Okay, so the next question is, you got a 20-unit building for me that I can actually get like at least an 8% cap rate.
I'll find it for you, bro. We're hustling.
Bro,
I'll find it for you.
Hey, you find me a deal, you can represent me, man. I don't even want the money, honestly.
You got it.
Dude, I'm always looking
bro.
for a deal, bro. And if I can keep it, honestly, if I can keep it in my backyard, I would rather keep it in my backyard versus taking it out of state. But, and that's the only reason why I'm going to this out of state, because it's 48 units. And basically with 48 units, I realize the more that you have, the better it is. Honestly, yeah. And the deal is the same, but I think it's just that kind of like that mindset I had at the beginning, because I had a bunch of like single family residents, because those are very easy to maintain and run, right? Because as you're getting started, but I realized, man, the real money is in the multifamily, right? That's where the real money comes in. So I'm very excited about that. Now, also, is there any other services that you provide, and something you want to plug in before we cut off from this show?
No, with everything from, we talked about it, development, single family, multi-units. I mean, you name it, we do it. And we surround ourselves with good people, man. I mean, we work together. We make this happen. So
I think there's one more thing that we got to cover, though. I think this is important. You were saying probates.
Probates.
Yeah, you do probates.
I do a lot.
Let's talk about that a little bit before we let everybody go here. What is probates, and how does probates actually work?
The typical probate is when somebody passes away. They don't have a trust, so it's either a will or just nothing at all. And the people that inherit the property are not allowed to sell it. It must go through the court process. A judge must sign off on it, and of course the buyer runs the risk of being overbid at the sale. So as a listing agent, we can take these listings. As a matter of fact, we're closing on one today.
Oh, nice.
And it took 9 months, though, man. 9 months.
Damn, what kind of attorney did y'all have? 9 months.
No. The attorney was all about it. The attorney was all over it. It was the court that delayed it. We didn't get the confirmation to move forward. Basically, I'll just give you this example. It's one of many, but it's the gentleman passes away.
Yeah.
Mother, father are deceased, and he has no brothers and sisters, no kids. He has 8 brothers and sisters, 8 aunts and uncles, man. So that's where you got to find out where they're at, right? They're spread out. Some are in Mexico.
I thought it was just like a next in kin.
No, man. Well, it is, but in this case, no siblings, no kids, only aunts and uncles, man.
So how would it work? It would be like the next uncle, right, or something?
Well, no, now you're talking about all 8, right? Yeah. And if they don't get along or they don't talk, in this case, you have them spread out between 2 different countries, 2 different states here in the U.S., Nevada here and California. So the attorney puts out a notice. And then, of course, any liens, anybody that can claim property will come forward. And in this case, we didn't find 2 aunts until a month ago, where they decided to come in 2 months ago. That's what delayed it too. So then you got to split the profits equally. Then the aunt that was in charge of paying the mortgage, breaking that down, man, making sure that money goes back to her. It's an ordeal. But
one thing I don't like about that, you just mentioned 9 months. The judge. Right?
Yes.
The goal of the judge is to get as much as money as they can for that property.
Yes.
When a transaction takes 9 months, and this has happened to me through a probate before, I was under contract. We was at one price. I represented, the
seller.
The seller, and we were setting one price. It had the buyer in tow, cash buyer. Freaking market goes up. About 6 months later, hey, rerun the comps, bro. Comps go up like $90,000. Judge is like, we're not selling to you for this price. We want more money. Buyer gets all pissed, right? You lose the buyer. But now we have an approved probate sale. We took on the other buyer and we just sold it. But just imagine if you're on the buying side. You wait all this time, or if you're doing financing, because what happens is it has to be conveyed to the world, obviously. Hey, this property is going for sale. But anybody can come in at any time and offer a higher price on that home, right?
I was overbid in that particular one.
Exactly.
I was representing the seller and the buyer.
Oh, really? See, that's what kind of sucks if you are the buyer, right? And
but now you save half of the commission, though, man.
Okay.
So it wasn't that bad, but but still rough. Still rough.
But if you actually have a good attorney, right? You guys can actually work together. Depending on the file, you can expedite these things pretty quickly. So and it's just the part that takes a while is with the courts. That's it, right?
That's out of our control.
Yeah,
but you're right.
Exactly.
With our attorney partner, we expedite them because we've had some that close in 3 months.
Okay,
right? We just get to it.
So to avoid that situation, if you have a home, right? Because obviously, if you just have a will, the will is not going to work, especially depending on the state that you're at, right? Yeah. What should you have so that way you could avoid the probate?
Trust. Family trust in place. A revocable trust, right? So do that on all my properties too, man. That way everything is sorted out. Who gets what if you die?
See, that's what I like about the revocable trust is like you can literally spell it out where I have it like, okay, my nieces and nephews will get a certain dollar amount. However, you're required to read this book. You're required to do this in order to get this. Like I literally, the day that I die, I'm still controlling my money.
Yep.
And that's the best way to do it. However, there's a lot of people out there that just don't want to spend a few $1,000s, but believe it or not, you know, when there's a death in the family, and there's been multiple deaths, not in my family, but in, you know, my wife's family, where people actually fight over money. It's kind of ridiculous. And I've seen this in other families too as well, because when it comes to money, it comes greed, which is, it's very fascinating to me. And people just fight over money. It's just kind of crazy to me. Like
all the time,
and,
man.
And the type of money that they're fighting is like 10,000, 20, 30,000. I'm like, bro, that shit ain't worth it, bro. Just give me all of it. Well, man, hey, I do appreciate you coming on the show. And I didn't realize that you specialize in all these different sectors. I think you need to come back on the show. And we really need to break these sectors down. And we have to have some sort of podcast where we just talk about these certain subjects, because we can dial in even more. Now, if somebody wants to get a hold of you because they want to do probate, they want to build a custom home, if they want to, get into the marketplace as far as, making some cash flow, 1031 exchange, doing construction loans and all that, what is the best way to get a hold of you?
Either a text message or call directly on my cell phone or my Instagram, man.
Okay. Guys, I'm going to have a link in the description below. York, we'll go ahead and add that here in a couple minutes. Real quick, what's the name of that Instagram?
Alex Vazquez Vegas, all together.
All together. All right. So now we're going to have to be friends on Instagram.
Absolutely, man.
I'm sure we are, but yeah. I have York like your stuff. That. Hey, man. Hey, I really do appreciate you coming on the show. Like I said, man, you got to come back on here. We got to do some business together, okay?
My pleasure, brother. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
All right, guys, I really do appreciate each and every one of you guys from the bottom of my heart. If you guys haven't had a chance to subscribe to this channel, go ahead and click that subscribe button. Also, check out our second channel. If you guys are just into real estate life, check us out on Chakits 2.0 and follow us on Instagram. Other than that, until next time, I'm Chakits.